Good morning. It's Donald and Mary, and we're here to bring you your morning weather, water, and trail chatter report. And so this morning, Mary's going to take it away with the water and weather, and then after, I have some trail news. Maybe I'm looking right now and see what we have going on, and hopefully, I have something to talk about. All right, take it away, Mary.
Thank you, Donald. Good morning, everybody. Right now in Blairsville, it's 66 degrees with some fog. Today we're going to have a high of 79, partly cloudy early, followed by scattered thunderstorms this afternoon. Winds will be 5 to 10 miles per hour with a 40% chance of rain. And then tonight, 66, scattered thunderstorms during the evening and partly cloudy after midnight. Winds will be light and variable with a 40% chance of rain. Up on Blood Mountain today, we're looking at a high of 72 degrees, dropping to 68 this afternoon. It'll be partly sunny with some showers and thunderstorms likely after 9 a.m. and winds 5 miles per hour with a 70% chance of rain. Tonight, 64 degrees, showers and thunderstorms before midnight, and then between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m. there is a chance, and then a slight chance after 1 a.m. It will be mostly cloudy with a 5 to 10 mile per hour wind and 80% chance of rain. Water's good on the trail, and with the continued rain, it will stay better than not. Let's remember to top off at Hawk Mountain Shelter because you have a 6.2 mile dry stretch as you hike north. Once you get to Justice Creek, you will be able to get water there. Top off at Sauter Creek before you climb Blood because Blood is dry, and then top off at Neil Gap when you get there because between Neil Gap and Hogpen Gap it's dry. Hogpen Gap will have water. Follow that Blue Blaze all the way down to the very, very end. You'll be able to get water there. And then coming down south or going north Fontana to Dix Creek is good with water. So that's our water information. Make sure you top off always just to keep yourself good. And then be cautious for snakes. It's that time of year. They're out basking in the sun, rocks, logs, stumps, across the trail, wherever they may be. And let's not forget that copperhead nest up on Cow Rock as you hike 5 miles north of Neil Gap. Stay away from those boulders up there in Cow Rock. That's where the copperhead nest is. All right, continuing information for Great Smoky Mountain National Park, US 441 Newfound Gap Road is closed on the Tennessee side between Sugarlands and Newfound Gap. It's free and clear between Cherokee in North Carolina to Newfound Gap, so you can use that side. They do project it will be finished being repaired early October, so let's hope so because it will be leaf peeping season and it can get really gorgeous up there in the Smokies and really crowded too, so we want to hope both sides are open. All right, in the Great Smoky Mountains, we are looking at closures for Kephart Prong Shelter and Icewater Springs Shelter. Icewater Springs is on the Appalachian Trail, and then campsites 23, 96, 49, 83, and 84. The warnings for Charlie's Bunyan, Trillium Gap Trail, Ramsey Cascades Trail, Bradley Fork Trail, Dry Sluice Gap, Kephart Prong Trail, Russell Field Shelter, which is also on the AT, and then campsite 113. That's all for bear warnings and closures. And then, of course, let's always leave no trace there and everywhere we are out while we recreate. Let's hang our food properly and dispose of all items properly also so it can stay clean and safe for all to enjoy. All right, Donald, that's what I have. I'm going to turn it over to you now and see what else there may be going on.
All right, cool. All right. Thank you, man.
You're welcome.
So it is 6:04 a.m., 8/22 of 2025. And so I just found the article of this dude that was missing in Norway, I believe. Hold on
He
for
was
one
in
second. Yeah, okay. It's the journalist from Wisconsin, 38-year-old dude named Loon. And so they did an interview with him, and stranded and injured, he drank his own urine to survive in the wild. Here's how an American hiker made it home. So, as he tumbled down a steep cliff in, hold on one second. All right. As he tumbled down a steep cliff in Norway, Alec Loon knew his life was in danger. I remember thinking, this is really bad. This is the start of a disaster movie. Loon said in an interview with CNN's Anderson Cooper. This is the moment where everything goes really, really wrong. Loon, a 38-year-old climate journalist from Wisconsin, had set out late July for a 4-day hike in southwest Norway's Folgefonna National Park. I could be tearing that up. Sorry. A massive stretch of land noted for its glaciers. An experienced hiker who had completed several solo trips in challenging conditions, Lynn knew cell service would be spotty and warned his wife of any communications from inside the park would be intermittent. Now, I don't know if he had a Garmin InReach or anything, man, or a satellite phone, but I would say that if you're going into those type of if you're going on that type of hike and nowhere's land, you should probably have
InReach.
a Garmin InReach or a sat phone.
Right. I would say warning his wife of spotty service. He probably did not carry one.
Yeah, probably not. So things quickly went awry. On the first day of his hike, the sole of his left boot began to detach, leading Loon to patch the boot up with athletic tape. Despite the early trouble, Loon pressed forward. I didn't want to go back in. It was just the very start of the hike, he said. That was the first bad decision I made. Later that day, he reached his destination, the Boer-Breen Glacier, a tongue of the sprawling Folgefonna Glacier, the third largest in the country. He then hiked to a ridge that leads to a nearby valley. That's when disaster struck, Loon said. One wrong step sent Loon hurtling down the side of the mountain. I just remember sliding down the mountain at first and then spinning down the mountain, rolling down the mountain, and then just pinballing down the mountain, he said. When he finally came to a stop, Loon realized his left femur had snapped. Yeah, definitely, dude, right? My left foot was just flopping around with no direction, he said. I was basically immobilized. I know how that feels. When I was 15 years old, my best friend and I, or one of my good friends, went head on with dirt bikes, and I fractured my left femur, and it broke and ripped out of my legs. So I remember waking up and Joe yelling, go get help, because he was injured also, but not like me. And I remember trying to move, and I couldn't. And so he had to crawl out, and long story. Anyways, dude, it really is, that's rough. And this dude's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And so my left foot was just flopping around with no direction, he said. I was basically immobilized. His backpack had ripped open on the fall, and several belongings, including his cell phone and water canteen, were gone. Oh, I see. It was a Thursday, and Loon recognized that he would likely have to survive several days in the wilderness, with his wife not expecting to hear from him until Monday. The first few days were trial by drought, Loon said. The sun bore down on Loon. He had little protection from the heat. He had several peanuts and granola bars, but struggled to eat without water. My mouth was so dry, the food was just kind of turned to concrete inside it, and I couldn't swallow it, he said. Desperately hungry and dehydrated, Loon eventually resorted to drinking his own urine to survive. The next time that I had to pee, I peed in my water pouch, he said. I drank my urine basically to have a little bit of hydration and to also get a little bit of food down. Back home in London, his wife, Veronika Silchenko, found out he'd failed to board his return flight to the UK on Monday. She began to panic and notified the Norwegian authorities, Silchenko told CNN. By the time the search for Loon began, weather conditions in the park had changed and heavy rain impeded the operation. On the morning of Wednesday, August 6th, Loon finally saw a glimmer of hope. Conditions had improved, and the Norwegian Red Cross mobilized a large team of volunteers, including specialized climbing teams and drones. I woke up in the morning. It's very cold, very wet. It there was a slight break in the weather where you can see a little bit of sunshine coming through all the valley, and the helicopter came, he said. But it had been 6 harsh days in the wild, and Loon was experiencing hallucinations. He questioned whether the helicopter could be real. Nevertheless, he waved and yelled at it, trying to grab the crew's attention. The aircraft moved on without detecting Loon. Determined not to miss a second chance at rescue, Loon pulled out his 10-pole and tied it to a bandana flag down the helicopter. About 45 minutes later, it returned and began scanning the terrain. I was just waving and just crying out with all my might, and finally the side door of the helicopter opens and somebody waved back at me, Lund said. That's when I knew it was up. It was all going to finally be over. After the rescue, Loon was treated in the hospital where he was reunited with his wife. I said, I love you, and she said, I love you, and she said, I'm going to rip you a new one, but for now, I love you, Loon said. The experience gave Loon a new lease on life, he said. It was very lonely up on that mountain. I didn't see a single other person anywhere near, he said. The whole time I was up there, I was thinking about how I might die on this hike that I was trying to do. And I would never see my wife or my parents or my brothers and sisters again. That was the most painful thought that he could have. And so, wow.
Well, thank goodness he was found and rescued and safe.
Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely. And so I wanted to read this article. They have Grant Gardner, the Minnesota hiker who went missing in Wyoming's Bighorn wilderness. He was hiking or climbing to the summit of Cloud Peak, and when he reached the summit, he called his wife, informed her that he had reached the summit and that, it was a little more taxing than he had anticipated. And so now, he was never seen or heard from after that ever again. And they've been searching for him for almost 22 days or 23 days. This was on July 29th that he made the call. I believe on August 1st, they started to search for him.
It's 3 weeks.
No signs of this dude, man. They gave up the hike, or they suspended the hike. They suspended the search and rescue. And so the search for Grant Gardner, the Minnesota hiker who went missing on August 1st in Wyoming's Bighorn Mountains, has been suspended. Bighorn County Sheriff Ken Blackburn made the announcement on Wednesday, calling the decision made jointly with Gardner's family heartbreaking and difficult. Our teams have exhausted all resources and personnel over the last 20 days, Blackburn wrote in a statement. With weather conditions and other factors updated in our search models, we have to face the reality that the most optimistic survival odds we have run out. Blackburn said search teams will rest before pivoting to a recovery mission, but there are many citizen volunteers and outdoors people still looking for Gardner. A husband and father of 2 from Lakeville, while grieving, are humbled and grateful beyond words, he wrote. Many team members, I feel like they have lost a battle by not finding Grant at this time. However, it was not for a lack of effort on anyone's part. Blackburn said earlier this month, Gardner texted his wife on July 29th after making the 13,000-foot summit to Cloud Peak, saying the climb was more taxing than he expected. Crews found Gardner's car the next day in a trailhead parking lot. WCCO's Ashley Graham spoke with family friend Becca Like on August 5th, who said Gardner regularly embarked on solo hiking trips. It was a well thought out, very planned, meticulous itinerary, Like said. Blackburn said Wednesday he hopes clues will surface that will help bring final closure to this tragedy in due time. Super sad.
Sure is.
That's probably going to end up with a, it's already a sad ending, but let's see what happens. He could come crawling out of the woods. You never know.
That would be awesome.
It would be. And I hope it does happen, but
I do too.
it's not looking very good. see what we have going on here. All right, and so yesterday we had a what did we go on?
I went up to Deep Gap.
Oh,
and
yeah,
got
that's
some folks out to
right,
Unicoi,
that's right.
People we've been helping.
Was it quiet up there at Deep Gap?
Oh, it was super quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very quiet. The only thing I heard up there the entire time, there was nobody else out there until they arrived, and just heard a plane go overhead. Other than that, it was really silent. Temperatures were awesome. I went down and checked the water. There was plenty of water there. Got some pictures of mushrooms. Took some video of going down to the water source so folks know where it's at when they come down off the trail. Yeah, so it was a good day, and they were excited to get out there and do some more hiking.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to say one thing before we end this. And so with the hiker that was lost in the Norwegian glacier, I believe it was, he said that when he was tumbling down the side of the mountain that he lost his gear, his phone, his backpack, and whatever. He lost all that stuff tumbling down the mountain. And so that goes back to, this is a good example of, I see a lot of people that wear their Garmin's on their backpacks. And, a lot of people will put their backpacks down and go get water, and it could be half a mile down the mountain. And, anything can happen out here. But when they tumble down that mountain, that Garmin is absolutely no good. And so I think that people should really start carrying them on them. And either a fanny pack, I know a lot of people don't like fanny packs, but I think they're good out here, good to have. Or just have it somehow connected to your body. And that way you have it if you do, fall or slip without your backpack on.
Zip it into a pocket. It's not that big. That way you do, like you're saying, you have it. Because, it could still tumble off if you get it on your hip or something like that. Zip it somewhere close to your body, like, I'm saying, fanny pack.
Yeah, and I think that, a Garmin InReach is definitely necessary because a lot of these rescues that I'm reading about are literally a mile off trail. Same with that chick up in Maine, dude, that Leger or whatever her name was, Leger, I believe her last name was. She walked off trail to go to the bathroom, got disoriented, and ended up walking like a mile off trail and couldn't find her way back. And everyone was out there searching for her, but no one could find her. And the thing is if she would have had a Garmin InReach on her, they could have found her. And it goes for, that's just one example. There's just so many different rescues that just in these ones that I've read in the last few months, a lot of them are just a mile off trail or a quarter mile up trail or 2 miles up from, civilization. And so definitely Garmin InReach is the way to go.
That's right.
And have it on you, not just strapped to your backpack or, you got to have that stuff on you, on you, man. So, anyways, that's all we have to really say today, man. We've got a few shuttles going on. Jordan's back, so we're gonna be getting some stuff done, and that's about it for today. We'll get some breakfast in and get this day moving, man. I hope everyone has a great day. If anyone needs anything at all, a shuttle or whatever, man, just give us a jingle. We're here for you. One love. Peace. Thanks.